Do you know what the scariest number in the world is? It isn't the number of nuclear warheads in a silo somewhere. It isn't the temperature of the melting ice caps. It is a number that is ticking up so fast that by the time I finish this sentence, it will have grown by another $1 million. That number is 36 trillion. That is the official national debt of the United States of America. But that isn't the lie. The lie is that we can never pay it back. The lie is that your taxes, your hard work, and your savings actually mean something in a system that is mathematically guaranteed to implode. You have felt it at the grocery store. You have felt it at the gas pump. You have felt it when you looked at house prices and realized the American dream is fast becoming a memory. But nobody has told you why. They tell you it is supply chains. They tell you it is corporate greed. They are lying to you. The truth is much simpler and much more terrifying. The United States is bankrupt. And the people in charge? They aren't trying to save the ship. They are looting the safe before it sinks. Welcome back to George Vance Live. I am your host, George Vance, and today we are pulling the mask off the biggest Ponzi scheme in human history. If you are new here, stop what you're doing and click that subscribe button right now. Turn on the notifications. We are the only channel telling you the truth about the economic train wreck that is heading straight for your bank account, and we are building a community of people who refuse to be victims. Do not be the person who says, "I didn't know," when the crash happens. Be the person who prepared. We have talked about Venezuela and the oil crisis. We have talked about BlackRock buying up your neighborhood to turn you into a permanent renter. We have warned you about the CBDC trap designed to control your spending. But all of those things, the control, the surveillance, the resource grabs, they are just symptoms. Today, we are diagnosing the disease. And the disease is debt. Terminal, unpayable, catastrophic debt. You see, most people think national debt is like a credit card. If you spend too much, you cut back on lattes, you work an extra shift, and you pay it off. But at a national level, the math doesn't work that way. We have crossed a line in the sand, a mathematical event horizon, where it is no longer physically possible to fix this problem without destroying the currency itself. Let's look at the raw numbers, and I promise to keep this simple, because the complexity is part of how they hide the truth. As of right now, the U.S. national debt is over $36 trillion. It is a number so big the human brain cannot actually comprehend it. Let me put it in perspective for you. If you spent $1 million every single day since Jesus was born, you would not have spent even $1 trillion yet. We owe 36 of them. But the total debt isn't even the real problem. The problem is the interest. Just like your mortgage or your credit card, the government has to pay interest on that debt. For decades, interest rates were essentially zero, so the debt didn't matter. It was free money. But the party is over. Interest rates have spiked. And now, the interest payments on our national debt have exploded. We are now paying over $1 trillion a year just in interest. Think about that for a second. $1 trillion. That is more than we spend on the entire U.S. military. That is more than we spend on Medicaid. We are spending more money to pay the bankers in foreign nations who own our debt than we are on defending our own country. And here is the kicker, and this is the part that proves it is a Ponzi scheme. Where does the government get the money to pay that interest? They don't have it. They are running a deficit. They spend more than they collect in taxes every single year. So, to pay the interest on the old credit card, they have to apply for a new credit card. They are borrowing money just to pay the interest on the money they already borrowed. It is a death spiral. Imagine you used a Visa card to pay off your MasterCard. And then you opened an Amex to pay off the Visa. And then you took out a payday loan to pay the interest on the Amex. Eventually, you run out of lenders. And that is exactly where America is right now. For the last 50 years, we had a cheat code. The US dollar was the world reserve currency. That meant that whenever we printed money, other countries would buy it. China, Japan, Saudi Arabia, they all bought US Treasury bonds. They essentially loaned us money to live beyond our means. It was a great deal for us. We got cheap TVs and cheap oil. They got pieces of paper. But something shifted. Look at the data George Vance Live has been tracking. China has been dumping US debt. They have sold hundreds of billions of dollars worth of treasuries. Japan is doing the same. The BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, are actively building a system to bypass the dollar entirely. Why? Because they can do the math too. They know we can never pay them back with real value. We can only pay them back with printed, worthless paper. This is why I warned you about Saudi Arabia in our first video. When the world stops buying our debt, who is left to buy it? Only one entity remains, the Federal Reserve. And how does the Federal Reserve buy debt? They print the money out of thin air. This is the textbook definition of hyperinflation. When the government becomes the only buyer of its own debt, the currency dies. History is crystal clear on this. Rome, Weimar Germany, Zimbabwe, Venezuela. The pattern is always the same. Massive debt, war, printing money, collapse. We are checking every single box on that list. And the terrifying part is that the politicians know it. They know there's no way out. Have you noticed that no one in Washington talks about balancing the budget anymore? Republicans? Democrats? It doesn't matter. Neither side has a plan to fix this because it cannot be fixed. To pay off this debt, every single American taxpayer would have to write a check for hundreds of thousands of dollars. That is not going to happen. So, what is the endgame? If they can't pay it back and they can't default without causing a global depression, what do? They choose the third option. They inflate it away. This is the silent default. Instead of telling you that they are bankrupt, they simply make your money worth less. They print trillions of dollars to pay the debt, which makes every dollar in your pocket worth pennies. This is why your grocery bill has doubled. This is why you can't afford a house. It isn't just inflation. It is a hidden tax. It is the government stealing your purchasing power to pay for their mistakes. They are transferring the wealth from your savings account to their debt pile. This brings us back to the Great Reset and the video we made about BlackRock. Why are they trying to buy all the real assets? Why is Bill Gates buying farmland? Why are central banks buying gold at record paces? Because they know the paper money is doomed. They are trading the fake money, the dollars, for real things. They are getting out of the burning building while telling you to stay inside and wait for help. When the dollar collapses, the person holding the cash loses everything. The person holding the land, the gold, the resources, they become the new kings. This is a wealth transfer. It is a heist. And you are the target. Let's talk about the social consequences of this, because this isn't just about numbers on a spreadsheet. This is about your life. When a currency collapses, society becomes unstable. We are already seeing the cracks. Crime is up. Civil unrest is brewing. The social contract is breaking. And when people work 40 hours a week and still can't afford food, they get angry. And the government is preparing for that anger. This connects directly to our last report on CBDCs, central bank digital currencies. Why do they want a digital dollar so badly right now? Is it for your convenience? No, it is for control. They know that when the debt bubble bursts, there will be panic. People will try to pull their money out of the banks. There will be bank runs. If they implement a CBDC, they can stop that. They can lock your funds. They can prevent you from buying gold or Bitcoin. They can force you to spend your money before it expires. The digital dollar is the fence they are building around the herd before the slaughter. They need a way to manage the collapse so that they stay in power and you stay dependent. It is not a conspiracy. It is a survival strategy for the ruling class. They are tightening the screws because they know the wheels are coming off the bus. I want you to look at the debt ceiling drama that happens every year in Congress. It is theater. It is a wrestling match where the outcome is predetermined. They argue, they scream, they shut down the government for a few days, and then, at the last minute, they raise the limit. They print more money. They kick the can down the road. But the road has run out. We are now adding $1 trillion in debt every 100 days. Let me repeat that. Every 3 months, we add $1 trillion to the pile. This is exponential growth. In mathematics, this is called a hockey stick curve. And in finance, a hockey stick curve always ends in a crash. So the question is not if it will collapse. The question is when. And the answer is, it is already happening. The collapse isn't a single day where everyone runs around screaming. It is a slow grind. It is the slow erosion of your standard of living. It is the fact that your grandfather could support a family of 5 on a single factory salary, but you need 2 incomes just to pay rent. That is the collapse. You are living in it. We are just approaching the terminal phase where the speed increases drastically. But here's the good news. Yes, there is good news. Chaos creates opportunity. The greatest transfers of wealth happen during these shifts. If you understand what is happening, you can position yourself on the right side of history. You can be like the people who bought real estate in the 1930s or gold in the 1970s. The system wants you to be scared, frozen, and hopeless. George Vance Live wants you to be educated, agile, and prepared. What does preparation look like? First, you need to understand that cash is trash. Do not keep your life savings in a savings account earning 0.01% interest, while inflation eats 10% of it a year. You are guaranteed to lose. You need hard assets. We have talked about gold and silver, God's money. It has survived every empire collapse in history. It has zero counterparty risk. When the dollar goes to zero, gold goes to infinity in dollar terms. Second, you need to get out of consumer debt. If the economy crashes, jobs will be lost. You do not want to be chained to a credit card or a massive car payment when the storm hits. Lean out your lifestyle. Become anti-fragile. The less you need from their system, the less they can hurt you. Third, look at Bitcoin. I know, it is volatile, but it is the only asset in the world that is truly finite and cannot be censored. Institutional money, the same BlackRock we warned you about, is moving into Bitcoin. They know it is the lifeboat. You don't have to bet the farm on it, but having some insurance against the money printer is common sense. Fourth, and most importantly, invest in your skills and your community. In a crisis, your neighbor is more important than your government. Can you grow food? Can you fix things? Do you have a network of people you trust? This is what we are building here at George Vance Live. A network of realists. We are waking people up one by one. This script is not meant to scare you into paralysis. It is meant to scare you into action. The $35 trillion lie is coming to an end. The math doesn't lie. 1 + 1 = 2. And 35 trillion plus exponential interest equals bankruptcy. The government has a plan for this. They plan to inflate the debt away, implement digital control, and sacrifice your standard of living to save themselves. That is their plan. The question is, what is your plan? Are you going to wait for the news anchor to tell you it's officially a crisis? By then, the ATM will be empty. By then, the grocery shelves will be bare. Or are you going to look at the writing on the wall, look at the math, and make a move today? This is the most important time in history to be alive. The world is reshaping before our eyes. The American empire is transitioning into something else. It will be painful, yes. But for those who see it coming, it is also a time of immense possibility. Do not let them gaslight you. Do not let them tell you the economy is strong while you struggle to buy eggs. Trust your eyes. Trust your wallet. Trust the math. I want to hear from you in the comments. This is a heavy topic, and I know it can be overwhelming. But tell me, do you feel the inflation in your own life? What is the one thing you have stopped buying because it has become too expensive? Share your story below. Let's create a record of what is really happening on Main Street, because Washington has forgotten us. And please, if you found value in this video, share it. Send it to your brother, your coworker, your parents. Send it to anyone who thinks everything is fine. We need to wake them up. The algorithm suppresses this kind of content because it goes against the narrative. You are the algorithm. You are the signal. Thank you for watching George Vance Live. We are going to keep digging. We are going to keep exposing the lies. And we are going to keep fighting for our financial freedom. Watch the debt clock, watch your assets, and stay free. I will see you in the next report.